Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahabushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. And salutations to the sincere Akim and Aquat that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Akwai. I'm back in here with another quick and Yahweh Ratazah, an edifying lesson. And and for today's lesson is I'm going to be going into where did the term anti-Sem come from, right? I don't want to say the whole thing, but you'll see on the screen as I read through the article, right? So I just thought I would do a little digging in the history of where this term actually comes from, because this world and this word, I should say, it carries a very, very strong vibration to the point where people don't actually know what actual I want to say, I guess, Semitism is, and they don't know who Sem, or rather Shem, is, right? Because there's no one in the Bible actually named Sem. Noah had three sons, and one of his sons was actually named Shem, and that's where the Israelites actually came out of, right? So, um, let's start off. I'm just gonna start off with this quick precept really quickly. Let's see. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, and it reads, Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is risen upon thee. Verse 2, For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be upon thee. Right? So, this world that's currently being ruled by Esau at the moment, it's our people, especially our people. There's no knowledge of what this word actually means, and this and what the bad apples who are currently in the land, in the state of Israel, I should say, when criticism falls upon them, the quick thing they do is to run behind this word anti-Sem, right? And what I would like to do in this lesson, my objective is to pull down that stronghold, like Paul talks about in Corinthians, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So, because this world doesn't know anything about Sem at all, or what, or his history, his lineage, right? To because that's one of the words that is thrown upon, hate, um, on all these different buzzwords, right? Because these words themselves hold a strong vibration, and they have a stronghold on the minds of our people, right? And the regular people too. Um, so, where was I? Let's get the article here. Okay, so this is njop.org. The origins of the word anti-S, right? So this is probably written by one of their own people, one of those bad apples, right? So here it says, today, January 22nd, has earmarked for an immoral meeting of the United Nations General Assembly on the growth of anti-S. It would be impossible for J. Treats in the limited 300 words to discuss the history of anti-S or even the proposed causes of it. So the J-ish treats will, however, provide an interesting history of the word anti-S, right? So below here it says the following: the term anti-S, Slakia, the term Semite, which was first used in 1781 to define languages related to Hebrew, initially referred to the people of the Near East origin. The word Semite is derived from the name Shem, the son of Noah, right? So there is no person in the Bible named Sem, but the correct word is Shem, right? one of the sons of Noah. So let's actually get that. So we're gonna get so the Bible actually says Genesis 11 and 10, and it reads, "These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad, and 2 years after the flood," right? So this is after the Most High, flooded the earth, right? And and then it goes down into Eber, then Peleg, then Nahor, and then Terah, and then eventually Abraham, right? So that's where the Israelites, that is the lineage of the Israelites, right? And eventually from Abraham begat Isaac, and then begat Jacob, right? So I had a quick map just as an illustration here, right? I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So this is the sons and the lineage of Shem, Salakia, right? And after with Abraham, for example, Abraham begat Isaac, and then he also begat Ishmael, right? So even who the present day so-called Arabs, they are also Shemites. That's an example. And Isaac had Jacob and Esau. So even the so-called white people and the so-called black people, the Mexicans, go down all the way down to the 12 tribes. Those are also Shemites, right? There is no just one exclusive club, one exclusive race that Shem, had begat, had given, came through the loins of Shem, right? So, just wanted to pull it down and, have just, shed some light on that stronghold, right? Because these people, these bad apples in the land, are claiming that word and make it sound like they're the only people who are quote unquote Shemites. When there are multiple races on the planet, you know, the Israelites, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, like I mentioned, these people are examples of Shemites, right? Moving on. Let's go back to the article. So it says here, Abraham was a descendant of Shem, which is true, we just went through. While there were varying groups who can be termed, it says Semitic, but the correct word is actually Shemitic. Anti-S is specifically the hatred and persecution of the Jews, right? So, this is where all that nonsense starts to begin. Anti-S came about in its Germanic form in the mid-19th century. In 1860, an Austrian Jewish scholar named Moritz Steinschneider introduced the term, and that's the German that it has on the screen here. He used the expression in a piece he wrote, countering the ideas of a French philosopher, Ernest Renan, who claimed that the Shemitic race, just saying it properly, was inferior to the Aryan race, right? So this was this is where that word actually just comes about. It came about, when somebody actually made the claim that the Shemitic people were inferior, right? And the only people who are superior on this planet are the Israelites, pursuant to Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. And what makes the Israelites superior is the fact that, they were given the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, right? That puts them over these nations, right? So just want to clarify that. The term anti-S was made common by Wilhelm Marr, a German publicist and agitator. Unfortunately, in 1879 pamphlet, The Way to Victory of Germanism over Judaism, in which he used the term anti-S, was very popular. That same year, Marr founded the League of the Anti-S, right? So this is all just an initiative to actually perpetuate that vibration. Like, these people are constantly being persecuted, which is not true, right? This word has no value because there is nobody on this planet named Sem, right? So Okay. This is Colossians chapter 4, verse 6, and it reads, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt." As a matter of fact, I'll start at verse 5, Salakim. "Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time," right? And the times now are very, very, um, I would say, emotional, with a lot of emotions running high, because you have the so-called Arabs and the so-called Palestinians, their tension, their feelings are running high because of a lot of the massacres that's happening to them. And people can't criticize the so-called Jays for what they're doing, those bad apples in the Holy Land, because these countries in the West are giving a bunch of money to to Israel, right? So, there's a lot of tensions running high, right? So, anyways, verse 6, and it reads, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man," right? So, that's the objective of this particular lesson, right? Because this word has no weight. It has no um it has no prejudice tied to this word, right? It's made up, right? Because there is nobody in the Bible named Sem Slakia, right? Let's see. Okay, so reading on, it says here, Mar founded the League of the Anti-S. It was interesting to note that Mar's first three wives, he was married 4 times, were all J-ish lineage, and that in 1891 he published an essay titled "Testament of the Anti-S," apologizing for his mistaken anti-S notions, right? So, this word, it just became popular after this author here, was just countering someone else's ideas, right? But now the media and has picked it up and actually has given it power, right? So when people think about this word, they think about hatred against these people, right? But it's very, very interesting that you cannot call them out for the behaviors that they do, because they hide and constantly are hiding behind this particular word. Let's get okay, this is Psalms chapter 50, verse 19, and it reads, "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit," right? And this is what comes out of their mouth. They don't actually perpetuate and actually uphold the law, statutes, and commandments, right? They uphold wickedness. They follow different um, books known as the Talmud, right? And these books are not actually upholding the laws to actually maintain the land, how to actually conduct yourself as, a man and woman should. They have their pink city, parades in the Holy Land, and so on and so forth, right? So they don't actually follow these instructions that the Bible actually, you know, outlines, right? They adhere to wickedness, right? Let's jump across to, because the power is really in these words, right? And it's just good to actually understand and know these words, and these words don't exist. This is Psalms chapter 64. I'll start at verse 3, and it reads, "Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words," right? "That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly they do shoot at him and fear not," right? So this is the powered. A lot of the times when you think about, Esau's, one of his powers is the fact that it's really in, the words, right? They're very, very crafty with the words, right? And it's also very interesting, because a lot of these J-ish people, they take up different professions like as lawyers, right? And the lawyers, and when they come up with these different contracts and so on and so forth, it's filled with a bunch of you know big vocabulary words and big jargon, and that's how they trip you up with this language, right? Rather than actually making it simple and straightforward to understand, right? So the really and truly the power is in the words. Why? So this is why, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, I'm trying to actually shed light and, even understand that the power is in the words, right? To actually tear down the stronghold, right? Just get, let's see. This is one of his tactics of how he fights, right? So one of the things of knowing your enemy is also knowing how your enemy fights, right? So okay, this is Sirach chapter 19 verse 26, and it reads, "There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit, casting down his countenance as if he had heard not, where he is not known. He will do thee a mischief before thou be aware," right? And in these times, it's very important to constantly like stay circumspect, right? Because with the height of all these what's going on in the Holy Land, it's it's always good to understand how the enemy fights, because that's the vibration that the media is constantly pushing, right? Verse 28, and it reads, "And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil," right? So this is one of his this is just one of the way that Esau fights, right? So just bringing that to light, right? So we know how to make those dodges and um make those combinations, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim and Shai, to actually dodge these things, right? So we're not trapped up by the heavy jargon and the heavy words that Esau likes to throw out at people. Anyways, as I said, I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to be quickly and straight to the point. But Yahweh Rataza, as always, hopefully this video was edifying. And I'd just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.